I'm Samuri. I am a Ghanaian.
Okay.
I'm based in Ghana, Accra.
But I just imagine how they coexist. As part of my work, I visiting this part of Belgium. I have this lovely family who.
So, I went over to a friend's place for an interview on a Saturday morning. Sounds simple, right? Well, what I didn't expect was to be treated like a royalty. I walked in thinking I was there to ask few questions, and next thing I know, I am offered food, drinks, maybe even a room if I needed one. The family welcomed me like I was a long lost cousin from abroad. From the moment I arrived, I was welcomed with open arms. The family showed me such genuine kindness and hospitality. It felt less like a visit and more like a reunion. In moments like this, you are reminded of the power of human connection, how conversations, shared meals, and simple laughter can turn strangers into family. The vibe, 10 out of 10. Cozy, chaotic in the best way, and full of laughter. Honestly, I might just go back for the hospitality and maybe the leftovers. Of course, I've been asked to come back. Big thanks to my friend and the amazing family of Mrs. Norberta for turning a casual interview into an amazing 5-star experience. And now, the interview.
Yeah, so good afternoon, my subscribers and viewers and promoters and the good people of our branch channel. You are welcome to another interview. Now, for the sake of you people and the love we have for you, we are in the minus one
Very
minus
cold.
1 degree cold, just
Freezing.
trying to get you a very good content. So today we are in Belgium. Here is for us tonight.
Tukne.
Tokne, that is the
Tokne.
French, or Donica.
Donik, that's the
Donik.
Flemish, the
Okay.
Dutch.
My colleague is called Donica. So
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I hope Donica you watch this video. So we are in Tone or Donik.
Donik,
To interview a whole professor.
Oh, please. That is not part of it.
Okay, you can describe yourself first.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Raphael.
Yeah.
I'm Samuel Apiofori. I am a Ghanaian.
Okay.
I'm based in Ghana, Accra. Professionally, I work with a US-based organization called One Tree Planted,
Oh, okay.
and we have restoration projects, or let me say reforestation projects across the continents in the world. So, yeah. My role is a project manager managing reforestation projects across Africa.
Great.
And maybe
money.
Yeah. I'm not a rich man, at least not yet. But yeah, that's a bit of what I do professionally.
Okay. But why are you in Belgium? Why are you in Tone?
Tukne.
Yeah.
That's an interesting question. So I started my PhD a few years ago.
Okay.
And I was very fortunate to have the flexibility of working from Ghana. So in the past years, I've been working in Ghana. My PhD, I can speak more to it if you're interested. But I'm here in Belgium to be able to finish up with the submission of my thesis.
Okay.
I need to go through the process of completion, which actually requires me to be around this time. Yeah.
Okay, so when is your PhD ended?
Hopefully, you should be ending this
maybe
year.
you should be telling us a bit about the PhD. I mean, a summary of what you are doing.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah.
So my Chomondo years, that was in 2019 until 2021.
Okay.
I did my research actually on mangroves in Sri Lanka.
Okay.
And I fell in love with mangroves so much that I couldn't end there after my master's degree. So afterwards, I was still involved in research work, but I was more focused in Africa. I started with Ghana,
Okay.
then a country like Nigeria. So thankfully, I was working with my supervisor then in my master's, who also thought about, we can actually put this kind of work that you're doing into a PhD.
Okay.
So I've been working with him since then. So my PhD basically is titled The Impact of Climate Change in African Countries and How Mangrove Ecosystems Can Be Used as a Key Nature-Based Solution to tackle this impact of climate change.
Okay.
So in Africa, not all the countries possess mangroves. Mangroves are known to be ecosystems that are usually located at the coastal regions or coastal areas of tropical, subtropical, and sometimes temperate countries or temperate regions. So, for example, in Africa, you realize that we have about 33 countries and territories that possess mangroves out of the over 54 countries of Africa. So, what the research focuses on, it starts by looking at the impact of climate change on Africa, and then it goes further down to look at how African countries who possess mangroves are using these special and unique ecosystems.
Okay.
Mind you, research has been done and it has been brought out that mangroves are known to be able to store 4 to 5 times more carbon per area, so let's say a hectare, compared to other tropical ecosystems. And that is not all. Mangroves, research has also been able to bring out that mangroves are able to serve as coastal barriers to coastal communities. So that tells us that mangroves possess both climate change mitigation and adaptation benefits for people, for nature, and even for climate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the reason why you decided to pursue a PhD in it?
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun to study about mangroves. I don't know, but thankfully my professor, which I think you know him, Farid is a huge mangrove fan.
Yeah.
And I think that inspired me a lot.
I mean, I hope one day I get Farid on the channel.
Yeah.
As a fan of mangroves, maybe.
You get it all for yourself. I believe you give all that you need to know about mangroves.
Okay, great. Okay, so when are you finishing your PhD? I mean, when do you intend completing the PhD?
Yeah, if all things being equal, I should finish by the end of this academic year, which is until September 13, 2025. Yeah, this year.
You started a PhD for only 2 years and you are done? Is that easy to do PhD?
Well, I think it's more than 2 years practically.
Okay.
Practically is about 3 years because I started working actively with my professor since 2022.
What's the plan after PhD? How much impact do you want to make? You know, most time people believe that a lot of people have PhD, but Africa looks the same. Do you know a lot of Africans have a lot of PhD? Yeah. Statistically, you have a lot of master students and PhD students. What are you going to do differently with your qualification?
Well, so actually, the research.
But even in the first place, do you really want to do most of your work in Africa? Since you said mangroves is more in tropical areas.
Yeah, I could. I actually have research experience in Sri Lanka, also in Indonesia. So these are like Asian or Southeast Asian countries. We actually have like 11 indicators that we use to measure countries' level of commitment or maybe commitment is too big of a level of integration of mangroves into their NDCs. And you realize that only 2 countries out of the 33, only 2 countries kept specific budgets for mangrove ecosystems.
And that's Ghana. Nigeria.
Sadly, Ghana is not even. I mean, we actually scored these countries, and I think, if I remember clearly, Equatorial Guinea, Senegal, and I think this country in East Africa, I think Sudan. These 3 countries were like the top. They scored 13 out of. It's even interesting. 13 out of 17. So you have like a list of indicators, and you score them. So yeah, I think Ghana had like.
Do you remember Ghana's score?
Ghana was among the last
Don't tell
5.
Me you failed.
The last 5. Yeah, it's sad. But
you got D7. Nice.
So one thing I want to do is to motivate nations to actually have plans for mangrove ecosystems.
Okay.
And these plans are basically to conserve mangroves, protect them, have management policies to protect them indeed, and to restore them.
Okay.
And you realize that when we do this, we benefit at the end of the day. The people living in the coastal communities benefit. The nation is able to get carbon credits out of this carbon mitigation potential of this ecosystem. So there are so many benefits, but it looks like we don't see it. And usually mangroves are considered by many people as wastelands. So you see a lot of pollution are going on there. We have issues in Nigeria, in other parts of the countries, in Africa. So yeah, we hope that this PhD can motivate countries to take effective actions, but also to make the public aware of the need to protect these ecosystems. I've traveled quite a bit around different parts of Ghana where there are mangroves, and also in other parts of the countries in Africa. And I've seen there's very little interest in the conservation of mangroves because people are not aware enough.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the awareness is low. So yeah, maybe that's the next plan is to go around to educate people on the need to protect these ecosystems.
Great. I think this is the time for time for science to meet practicality, because most times scientists only publish the paper, they sit in their offices, wait for promotions.
Yeah.
He want to take science to research to a different level, which is really nice. But already you are working. And is your work on mangroves?
Actually, my work, and I'm very excited about this job because it brings a lot of
money.
No, not necessarily, but it brings a lot of meaning to what I studied in my masters.
All right. Yeah.
Chopmondo is a program on tropical ecosystems or tropical biodiversity ecosystems. So it's focused on tropical or nature conservation in the tropics. And coming from Ghana, and actually at my workplace, I manage projects in Africa. And Africa is a tropical continent. Okay. So what we do is to promote restoration through providing grants to locally led NGOs. So we have projects like across the entire continent.
Okay.
And I'm talking from an African point of view. We have projects across all the 6-7 continents.
Okay.
But in Africa, for example, I manage projects in Ghana, Nigeria, Senegal, Sierra Leone, Liberia, also in East Africa, Kenya, Rwanda, and South Africa, Zambia. So we basically, as I said, provide grants for local NGOs to restore the environment through tree planting. So it can be through tree planting in people's farms or through restoration of forest reserves or community forests.
Fine. We are happy that you are making good use of the masters. That's really
For me, it was always, and maybe you might want to know, it was always for me a passion to come back home, to contribute back to the society.
That's even the next question. Most Africans, when they travel, we are here to study. After that, we go back home to develop our continent. If you happen to be in most of the interviews, PhD interviews in most embassies, you know, the kind of English people you say, we are going to, we can study and come. But many people after, I mean, when they are done,
even
they have their own challenge too. Because sometimes they come to the continent, there's no place for them.
easy.
But most of them still stick around Europe. They don't go back to make that impact.
Yeah, and I think,
why do you think so different? I don't tell you it's because of local.
definitely because everyone is unique and everyone has certain interests tied to their choice. Tied to their choice that they make. So even like completed, I had the plan. So my plan, and I'm a Christian. There's a Bible verse that says, man.
I mean, you have to back you up with some hymns, you know. Yeah, so there's a Bible verse. I
mean, there are a couple of Bible verses. There's one verse, I think, in Isaiah. That says, "Your ways are not my ways." Because God's ways are always higher. I think there's another verse somewhere in Jeremiah.
Do you want me to help? Because that would be $2. Because I know that quote.
Okay, help me. Yes, your ways are not my ways. And your thoughts are not my thoughts.
Your thoughts are not my thoughts. Just as the heavens are far from the earth, so are my thoughts far from you.
Exactly. Exactly.
So $2.
$2. We'll talk about that after the video. But and there's also another one that like horses are prepared for battle, but victory comes from the Lord. And then there's another one like man plans, but it's God.
Man proposes, God is proposing.
Exactly. It's God who determines the end from the beginning. So I had a plan that after my master's, I'll do my PhD. And after my PhD, I'll come to Ghana and be a lecturer. Amazing plan,
The same story. Almost every African.
Amazing plan.
After masters, I want to do PhD.
Oh my. And I actually started applying for PhD right from our days in Sri Lanka. So that's second semester, first year. I think I applied for like 2 different PhD positions in Australia. None of them went through. And I mean, until now, I have like a list of about 15 rejected PhD applications, which I'm very proud of. Because I can tell the story of how God really used his own ways to direct me. Definitely wasn't my plan that would come to pass. But yeah, so I remember after my master's, I had the opportunity to do what we call traineeship. Erasmus has a traineeship program for Erasmus plus students. So I was in Germany for this traineeship around 5 months. So towards I mean, during that time I was still applying for PhD. That's why I could have 15 rejected lists. But also within me, the plan was that if I don't get a PhD, maybe I could also apply for a job. But if I don't get any of these, I'm going back home, regardless of whatever.
Regardless.
The
just shall live by its faith. The just shall live by its faith, indeed.
Yeah, I don't want to stay in the country where I'm doing nothing, and also, to understand, become an illegal immigrant, so to say. Because sometimes, once your time of your duration of stay for a particular purpose is completed, you don't have any other time to stay unless you're doing something that is relevant, that makes you able to stay. So I was ready to come back home, and I was ready through faith. Already, family and friends are like,
"You can come home.
Ghana, what are you coming to do in Ghana? There are no jobs. Opportunities are not there. Why don't you look for another opportunity?" Like so many ideas. But within me, I had a sense of no, this place is not for you. Of course, you have met beautiful people, amazing people who really express nice, like give you
a good advice.
Feel loved and all that. But everything showed that, because I mean, sometimes, and it's a life lesson that I learned. Sometimes when you keep trying, it means it is not for you. Just let it be. Let's just let it go. So I actually booked my flights before telling my parents.
And they're not happy. I know they will.
Of course.
They're not happy.
And lo and behold, I was in Ghana in March. I think 27th March 2022. So I didn't know what I was going to do, but I didn't know what I was going to do professionally, but I knew that if I go, I had the plan to visit some churches that I've visited before, because I was inspired to do that. And then also I wanted to continue with my research work. So actually during that time, I was already doing some research that became relevant to my PhD.
Oh, okay.
So I was not going to sleep and stay in Ghana. I was going to be a bit busy, but not like professionally. So as the months went by, I once had because I was in touch with some of my professors in UDS. When I did mention to one that, I need a job in this space. So lo and behold, there was a job with an organization that was actually on mangrove conservation and restoration. And so he shared it with me. Something I shared, something that I was also interested. So he shared it with me, and I was like, "Oh, great! I'd apply for it," which I did apply. Fast forward, I got the position.
God spoke.
Yeah, I
mean that should be the next question. How do you? What is the right word to use? But how do you manage to be a scientist and a believer? You know, many scientists are not. Especially you are in Europe. Of course, you are in Europe, and you know that a lot of our professors are either atheist or agnostic, or they don't believe in God at all. How do you match the two? A science opposite to God.
Everyone has a choice.
Okay.
But for me, I believe actually when you go through history, the best scientists actually became believers, or they were actually believers.
Einstein.
Newton.
Newton.
I mean, all of this, and it's amazing. Even today.
Yeah. But many people believe that if the discoveries and technologies you have today was there during their time, they wouldn't have believed in God.
Well, maybe people believe. It's up to people to decide. But I think for me personally, there is no way. Actually, I think science makes me believe in God the more. And I realize, because discoveries are made through science, but when these discoveries are made, you realize that this cannot be just out of nothing. There must be someone who managed in his own wisdom to develop all of this. And it cannot be a human being. It should be someone far greater than a human being. And we have been told. Of course, I have not seen God. There's a verse that says, no one has seen God at any time. But it is by faith. It is by faith that we know that God exists. And for me, God has led me. He has done so much for me that I cannot say that there is no God. It's unimaginable.
Okay. So you combine both science and religion.
Yeah, it's lovely to combine both, actually.
Anyway, that's nice. So you've already told us the things you want to do for Africa when you're done with your PhD, and the importance of your PhD. And going forward, the people who may want to do PhD, did you just follow right now with your explanation and your narration? It shows that the PhD you are doing now is really out of passion. The job you are doing is out of passion. Those who are coming up, what do you say to them? Follow passion or follow opportunity and money? Opportunity that produce money.
You can follow all. Maybe someone's passion is actually money. But
everyone has a passion for money. Well, what brings in the money is the thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, thankfully, for me, I think, as I'm saying, it's really God who led me.
Okay.
So I think first thing, if you're a believer, first thing is to be able to know God's ways and be able to just be open to Him.
Okay.
And you realize the background was not really much of an ecology kind of background. So there was a bit of struggle for me actually in the first year when I was doing my master's, because a lot of things were new.
So it was
botany,
more biological.
Yeah, mine was more environmental, natural resources.
Yeah.
More of the not really into the biology of things. So, but I realized even though I struggled, gradually I was gaining grounds. Gradually I was getting better. I was developing. And I realized passion comes sometimes out of or interest comes out of maybe someone mentoring you in a very good way. And for me, I think my professor Farid mentored me indirectly. I mean, he was not like saying, "Okay, I'm going to mentor you," but I was learning out of his passion. And I think maybe before I realized, I was already having the same passion as he had. And also because we went to Sri Lanka, we were into the mangroves, all the adventure of it, and having done my master degree in mangroves, I said, "Oh no, I just fell in love in this particular steps, and I want to do more because there's still more to do." But it's always good to, whatever you do, you have to develop the passion. Sometimes passion is never there, but you need to develop it. It starts from an intentional development of a passion towards something that you are doing, and that actually makes you excel. And I'm not saying that I've excelled, but I realize.
But you're in the process.
Yeah, I'm in the process, and I give all the glory to God because God has really come through for me. Like
Jesus is Lord.
so many times, so many times. So that is basically what I can say.
Yeah. So if they say follow your passion can also be developed.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm in a bit of your social life.
Oh, social life.
It's believed that scientists are very anti-social. You're always reading PDFs. I mean, doing research, can be hectic. But how do you combine that with your social life? And I mean, many people are discouraged in doing PhD because they feel take all your time. Yeah, you don't have time for yourself. Blah blah blah. How do you manage all this? Plus your job. Yeah, you are working now. You used to be a billionaire.
I think it's all about planning.
Okay.
You can plan your social life in terms of timing.
Okay.
You can plan your work life in terms of timing. You can plan your academic life.
Okay.
Like, I mean, we have all been through school. I have like a timetable, a schedule. And for me, I've grown up to really admire the use of a calendar.
Okay.
Not like even the physical calendar, but I use more of my digital calendar where we have meetings, and my work actually makes it very practically relevant. Okay. You always have a scheduled day. So yeah, I have a social life. I have friends, and I have a family. I mean, not like
there are 3 F's. You've mentioned 2 F's. The last one.
Oh my goodness. So I have friends, I have a family, and I have a fiancé. Fiancé, yeah.
Scientists, the top.
Of course, we need to obey God's word.
Yeah.
And the two shall be one. Yeah. So yeah, it's all about planning and communication is always very important. I think, for example, for someone in a relationship, you need to really have clear communication lines, so to say. If you are busy, you are busy. If you are not busy, you are not busy. Like, and also create opportunities. It's not always to be so strict.
Okay.
Because, for example, Saturdays, how are you doing? You're not working. You can pause academic life. You can pause, what's the name? You can pause work life.
Yeah.
Focus on social life.
Okay.
If you have a church program, go. If you have a meet up with friends that, for you want to go.
If you have a date night.
Like today, I mean, you asked me if you could come during the
video,
week.
If you have a YouTube video, do it.
Yeah, we couldn't have done it within the week because for me it was busy to work. But on a Saturday, Sunday, it's good.
Okay. So, in other words, PhD doesn't usually take all your social life and everything.
It's not boring at all, as people say.
Okay.
And you must love to read and write. For me, I love to read, I love to write.
Okay.
And I'm not saying this to brag, but I work with a Professor Samuel Kobina.
Yeah.
He inspired me to learn how to publish.
Yeah.
By the time I was in my first year master degree, I published like 3 or 4 papers.
Mm.
Can you guess how many papers I have by now? I have like 15 papers. And I think, published, and I think I have like 2 or 3 that are already being submitted for publication.
Okay.
So you have to be desirous to also be able to publish. It should be, again, passion developed. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's beautiful. It's been very, very interactive. Even not because my hands are no more active.
I wasn't freezing there, as you can see.
Maybe you could have had a lot of interaction. But before you go, what do you have for the world? I always love people to, say something to the world. What have you learned? What do you want the world to learn from you too?
I think from my own experience, I would say, horses are prepared for battle, but victory comes from the Lord.
Okay.
What I basically mean is always commit your ways to the Lord if you're a believer, and always everything that you do it do your best. Do your best. I never believe in being on top of others. No, it's not a question of whether you're on top of others or whether you are first and others are below you. It's a question of do your best. If doing your best puts you on top, fine. If doing your best puts you below, fine. But whatever you do it with your best, and I believe God will bless you, and you'd see the fruits later on.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
okay. Do your best.
It.
If 5 balls of Banku, do your best.
If 5 balls of Banku, why not?
Okay, so thank you so much. You call him prof, so he keeps rejecting the prof.
No.
Someone who is not done with PhD with 15 publications.
Oh.
To be a professor, you need this kind of publication. That's about you need about 30. And it depends on the journal you publish in. That's already you only need a PhD and professor we off you go.
That's if I'll be in academia.
But do you plan to?
I actually don't know. Yeah. I've learned to rather be in the unknown and trust God to lead me.
Okay.
Yeah.
But being a professor doesn't mean you are known.
No. I mean in the unknown, as in like rather be unsure about my future.
Yeah. Okay.
But know that God has actually planned it for me, so I will not be too. But I allow to take things step by step, a day at a time.
One at a time.
Yeah, a day at a time.
So you would like to take it one at a time. So one interview at a time. Maybe after your PhD, you will come and interview again. And
hopefully.
During the wedding, you'll be there. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah,
thank you so much for your time.
Thank you as well. Really appreciate it.
We hope that you follow, you subscribe, you comment, and enjoy this interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye to everyone.
Bye.
That is very presidential. Bye. As part of my work, I visiting this part of Belgium. I have this lovely family who hosted me, and I want you to know them. Anytime. It's overcome So the main woman is here who doesn't want to appear on camera, so she'll be saying it to them. So first of all, So first of all, I want you to thank yourselves for the.
D'abord, il veut dire merci.
Oh yeah. Hey, that's too fast.
First of all, you want to say thanks.
Thanks, yeah. I would say.
Tout d'abord, il veut dire merci.
Okay, so thanks for hosting me. And
pour l'accueillir.
And thanks for the YouTube video.
Et merci pour le vidéo, le YouTube. Oui.
Yeah.
Après signature, autographe.
Great. And thanks for the transport too from the train station.
Merci de venir le chercher à la gare et amener à la maison.
Great. However, before I leave here, I want everyone in the house to subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Avant qu'il parte, il veut que tout le monde se souscrive sur son tube. Sur son chaîne. Il veut que vous Sur sa chaîne
Un
YouTube.
commentaire. Un commentaire.
Non, il faut subscrire. Sur sa chaîne YouTube.
Okay. Yeah, so mainly I want to appreciate you for your time, for the energy you spent on me.
Il veut vous
and
apprécier
everything.
pour votre temps, l'énergie que vous avez lui donné quoi, pour le journée.
Yeah. And then I also hope that one day you'll be in Ghana and I'll probably or properly interview you when you're in Ghana.
Espérons qu'un jour tu seras au Ghana.
Amen.
And thank you all. But you didn't introduce yourselves. The people may want to know.
On est friend aïe, Ekuya Dengba.
Ekuya? Do you know the meaning of Ekuya? Do you know the meaning of Ekuya?
Mercredi à toi. Ekuya Dengba.
Adengba. Adengba.
Et déjà qu'on est sur on.
And see.
My name is Dr. Shito.
Shito. Oh, Shito.
Okay. Dr. Shito.
Sabi.
Okay.
Sabi.
Okay.
We stopped at nothing, baby. They couldn't take us, they couldn't change us, they couldn't catch us if they tried. Now we didn't care at all about winter or spring.
Okay. So finally the food is served. And everyone is trying to be in the video. So. And the hand that is opening the soup. It's the woman of the house who served us so well. Yeah.
When we stopped at nothing, babe. Yeah, we stopped at nothing, baby.
It wasn't just an interview. It was a beautiful exchange of stories, of culture, and warmth. And I must say, I am truly grateful.